Matthew chapter 5. When you have it, you can say amen. If you're still looking, tell me to hold on. And I'm going to be reading from the New Revised Standard Version. Listen, beloved, for a word from the Lord. It simply says like this: you are the light of the world. A city built on a hill cannot be hid. No one, after lighting a lamp, puts it under the bushel basket, but on the lampstand. And it gives light to all in the house. In the same way, and this is what I believe God is speaking to us on tonight, let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father in heaven. You may be seated. Let me repeat this short, but I believe sagacious, this precise, but I believe profound text. You are the light. You are the light of the world. A city built on a hill cannot be hid, and no one, after lighting a lamp, puts it under the bushel basket, but on the lampstand. And it gives light to all in the house. In the same way, let your light shine before others, so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father in heaven. Beloved, pray with me, please, sir, and please, ma'am, please, elder, and please, youngster, on this thought as we just tarry for just a little while on today on this one-word topic that you've already been introduced to. If you've seen a flyer, if you have been on Instagram or Facebook, or if you've been to church on Sunday, our topic, our theme, our idea that I want to carry on to you, and I want you to carry with you as you leave this year and go into the next year, is simply this: shine. Shine, the verb form, the imperative, the exhortation that I want to give you on tonight, that I believe that for each and every one of us, God is giving a special call on each and every one of our lives for 2019 to shine. I like this text on tonight because I believe this text gives us three reasons that we can and will shine in 2019. I believe that our shine, our ability to be a light wherever we are, our ability to glow wherever we are, our ability to be brilliant and to be bright in whatever context we find ourselves, I believe will be a result of three simple but short things that I want you to carry into the new year. Three things that I find leaking in this text that can help us understand why in 2019, I believe God is calling us to shine. The first reason I believe your shine, I believe that your shine in 2019 will be a result of your structure. I hope you're writing notes or you're keeping it to memory. I got 3 points. All of them begin with S's in case you're not writing, to help you. Those are called mnemonic devices. And so I'm using some alliteration tonight to help you go into your 2019. And the first S that I want to give you, that I believe will help you to be bright, to be brilliant, to glow wherever you are, on a job that you don't like and in front of coworkers that don't like you. I still believe that God is calling you to shine. Next year, wherever you find yourself, when you go back next semester into a school where teachers are underappreciating and don't care about your education but only care about a check, I still believe that God is calling you to be bright, to be brilliant, to glow, and to shine. Next year, whatever relationship you find yourself in, if it's one that is moving or if it's one that is faltering, I still believe that God has called you to shine. And the first reason that I believe your shine will come and will be present in 2019 is because of your structure. Listen to the text. It's right there In case you read it too fast, Jesus is talking to his disciples about what his expectation is of who they ought to be and how they ought to be in the world, on their jobs, in the schools, in their house, in their neighborhood, with their boys, hanging with their girlfriends on Taco Tuesdays or happy hour. Jesus is giving his disciples his understanding of what he thinks they should be in the world. In other words, what we get in this 14th verse is Jesus articulating to them how they are built even as believers of God. Their structure. In other words, God has designed you to shine. Now that doesn't mean much to you because you've grown up singing songs all the time that relate to shine. If any of you grew up in church, some of you know that we grew up on the song, "This Little Light of Mine, I'm going to let it shine." But you don't realize how much this analogy, this metaphor would have been revolutionary to the Jewish mind, because the Jewish mind usually did not operate in the metaphor of light versus darkness. In fact, the Jewish mind, when they thought about who they were to be in the world and how they should act in the world, they operated with the metaphor of clean and dirty. Because if any of you have ever studied your Old Testament Bible, you know there was a serious emphasis on being holy and being pure. In fact, if any of you grew up with a good Christian, old-fashioned Christian upbringing, you know that holiness and purity was on the top of most of our Christian upbringing's agenda. We inherit that idea from traditional and conservative Judaism that Jesus is engaged with at the time, that the best thing we can be is holy. The best thing we can be is pure. And that's why some of you grew up with your parents swearing you ought not play cards, even if it wasn't any money on the table. They wouldn't even let you have that little bicycle pack in a drawer in their house because they didn't believe in playing cards. They didn't believe in hanging with the wrong friends. You couldn't come to grandmama's house talking about you had a friend that didn't believe in Jesus, because your parents, if you grew up with parents and grandparents like I did, you know they would start selecting your friends for you because they didn't want you hanging with nobody that played cards. They didn't want you hanging with nobody that didn't go to church, because if you got intermingled and intertangled with the wrong crowd, they would make you dirty. That's because most of us know what it meant to grow up in a household that was pure and holiness. Now here's the thing. If you didn't grow up in a strong Christian household, you know somebody who did, whose house you couldn't go over. And who couldn't come over your house because you would have messed up their holiness. This idea comes from a metaphor that goes way back to Jesus' time about clean and dirty. And it really worked something like this. Many of us, as we get ready for spring, even next year, we're looking forward to going back in the back of our closet and pulling out our white outfits. Some of us got some linen outfits that are pressed and creased and ready to come back out in spring. If anybody here has ever worn all white, you know this, that whenever your all white outfit comes into contact with anything that's dirty, the dirt always wins. If any of you grew up wearing Air Force Ones or some white clean J's, you understand this, because there's some place you wouldn't even go. Because you know that if your white tennis shoes got in contact with a dirty path or a dirty trail, then it would mess up your entire outfit. Because when clean comes into contact with dirty, dirt always wins. I saw a meme the other day. It blessed me, and I hope y'all can see this, where a young man was wearing some new J's, and he was proposing to his wife. He was proposing to his girlfriend, who he wanted to be to his wife. And only a person who's ever worn some expensive new tennis shoes can appreciate this. He was down on one knee, and you missed it if you watched too fast. But as he was down on one knee, he took one of his tennis shoes off so they wouldn't get messed up on the dirt. And his shoe stayed down while he stayed bent because he didn't want to get his new shoes dirty on the ground as he was on one knee. That's because he knew whenever clean comes into contact with dirty, dirt wins. This is the psychological and sociological mindset that Jews had about Christians hanging with people that weren't Christians. See, in Jewish culture, your biggest goal was to be pure. And to be pure meant to be separated from that which is unclean. Why? Because if clean ever comes into contact with dirt, then guess what wins? Dirt wins. And so the Jewish people spent their whole lives trying to stay away from dirty people who did dirty things. The Jewish people had a special place in the temple for people who weren't clean so that they wouldn't come into contact and mess up the holiness of the people who were clean. In fact, Jewish people had rules about people you could eat with. And if you wasn't living right and you weren't holy, if you had gone to the club on Saturday night, then you really couldn't eat with somebody like me because, you know, I'm holy, I'm clean, and I'm pure. And so that you wouldn't mess me up with your dirt, then clean had to stay away from dirty. Because in the Jewish mindset, whenever two people were together, they wanted to know who was clean and who was dirty. The understanding of holiness and clean would make a very holy person a reclusive. That's why if you grew up in a holy house, you grew up depressed because you couldn't go nowhere. You couldn't do nothing. Because clean didn't want to get messed up with dirty. That meant when people were going out at night, you were staying at home with your holy mama and your holy daddy so that you would not get dirty. The Jewish mindset of clean and dirty caused people to be reclusive. Jesus in this text is blowing the Jewish mind because he changes the sociological metaphor from clean and dirty to light and darkness. Because when clean comes into contact with dirty, dirt always wins. But here's what's interesting about light and dark. When light comes into contact with darkness, light always wins. Have you ever been in a room where there was light and darkness won? Think about that for a moment, because some of you right now are trying to disprove my theory. The reason darkness will never defeat light is because darkness has no source. In fact, the only way you can get darkness is if you turn the lights off. You can't turn on darkness. The only way you can get darkness is if you turn lights off. And this is what Jesus is doing and telling us in 2019. In 2019, Jesus isn't saying you need to be clean. Jesus is saying you need to be light. And so in 2019, Jesus isn't telling you not to go to Taco Tuesday. Jesus isn't telling you not to play cards or have fun. But Jesus is saying wherever you go, just make sure you're turned on. So that when you get in there, whatever darkness is around, you can light up the place. And that's what I'm calling on us to do in 2019, not to be clean in a dirt world, but to be light in a dark world. I'm calling us in 2019 to get our shine on. Wherever we go, it ought to be a little bit brighter. Wherever we go, it ought to be a little bit more brilliant. Wherever we go, there ought to be a glow about us. And so Jesus is saying that you are built not to hide from people, not to stay in the reclusiveness of your house, not to not meet with people and mesh with people and have fun with people, but you are built to shine. Your shine is a result of your structure. I like this text. If you pay attention, there's something else this text tells us. Listen to what Jesus says. In the same way, let your light shine before others so that they may see your good works and give glory to your Father. Jesus, right now, is telling of people who have the wrong idea about religion. He is in a place where they think the most religious people sit on the front row. He is dealing with a Christian culture where they think the most religious people have the most attention. He is dealing with a people who they think the most religious people have the biggest chairs, have armor bearers and adjutants. He is dealing with a culture not like our culture where they think the most religious people are on billboards on the highway and have people holding their towels and wiping their sweat and holding their water. He is in a religious culture where they, listen to this, would rather be lit than be light. Now, you missed that, so let me say it again. Stop, rewind, and pray. He was dealing with the people that would rather be lit than be light. And somebody still don't get what's the difference between being lit and being light. Notice that you've never seen a light on a light. People who want to be lit want the spotlight on them. But people who want to be light bring brightness to the room. People who want to be lit need brightness. People who want to be light are brightness. See, there's a difference. And Jesus was in a culture where people wanted to be lit. That's why one of the things we believe here at Fellowship of Love is that we think everybody is the same and somebody. That's why there are no special seats. There are no reserved section. There are no pulpit chairs versus pew chairs, because we recognize and realize our goal and our calling is not to be lit. We don't need the light on us. Our goal is to be light. And so the second thing that our shine comes because of is because of our service. Your shine will be a result of your structure. But in 2019, if you really want to be light and not just be lit, then God is calling us to live a life bigger than ourselves. Find something that you can do that can help someone. Find something in 2019 where you can bless someone. Find in 2019 where you can improve someone else other than yourself. Jesus was dealing with the people who wanted to be lit, but he was calling on the people who wanted to be light. And there's so much about our culture that is focused on being lit. So many of us are going into debt so we can wear high-end clothes so the spotlight will be on us. Some of us are driving cars we cannot afford, and our payments are backed up because when we ride down the road, we want the spotlight on us. Some of us go out of our way. Not nobody in here, but you know people who go out of their way so that people can see them and people can watch them. Anybody know somebody who looks rich, but you go to their house and ain't no food in the pantry and the refrigerator is empty, but you would never know it by the purse that they carry or the clothes that they're wearing? I'm just talking about people who want to be lit. But in 2019, I wish I could find 5 people who are not worried about lights being on them, but are worried about bringing a light to their job, bringing a light to their neighborhood, because God has not called us to have lights on us. God has called us to bring light in dark places. And the result of your shine will be the result of your service. Now, I found out something about service some time ago when I was preaching. Every now and then, God enables me to go to nice places, and y'all forgive me for this, but I've got some humanity in me, some flesh in me. I don't mind every now and then when I'm put up in a nice hotel. Whenever you're asking and the churches are asking me and they let me know I'm going to be in a nice hotel, I know y'all don't care nothing about that, but they ask me, Pastor, do you have any room preferences? Now, if anybody knows me, I'm not really a picky person, but here's the one preference I always have when I go into any hotel. I want to be at the highest floor with the best view. That's all I need. I don't care about no queen or a king. I don't care about no suite versus a hotel. Here's all I want. I want to be on the highest floor with the best view. had the privilege of going to a luxury hotel in a nice city, in a nice hotel, being on the highest floor and having the best view. Y'all, I was in heaven, y'all. I was high up. I'm talking about when you're going up in the elevator and your ears pop and you got to swallow because you're so high up. I'm talking about I was on a high floor and I had a nice view. I was on this floor. I had come back and I had worked out that morning and went out and walked the town a little bit to see. But then it got time for me to come home, take a shower, go into my room and preach. Now, got back to the hotel, went into the hotel, pushed the up button, and waited for a hotel to come down. I patiently looked at the numbers and waited for it to come down. The light was on the wall, but none of the lights on the numbers were moving. And so I waited patiently. I pushed it again. Y'all know what you do when you think something's not working. The light is on. I'm still just pushing, though, just trying to make sure everything is okay. I'm pushing the button. The light is on, but the lights and the numbers aren't working, and I don't hear that infamous boom that lets me know it's time to get on the elevator door. So all of a sudden, I went to someone who worked there, and I said, ma'am, I need to let you know something. The elevator is not working. Now, I know what you're thinking with your in-shape self. You're thinking what I could have done was gone to the stairway and just walked up to my room. Amen. Well, look here. Next time you live in a hotel and you high up, you take the stairs. But what I did was I walked my behind to the person who I thought could help me not have to take the stairs because I didn't want to walk. I told y'all I was in the highest room with the best view. So I went to the lady and I explained to her that the elevators were not working. Now here's what you got to know and understand about these elevators. These were some nice elevators. These was a nice hotel, a luxury hotel with luxury elevators, marble floors, gold-plated handrails, ornate and decorative mirrors. In fact, I was in the elevator as I was before this moment, and I would just be in the elevator just looking around, just happy to be somewhere, looking at how the ceiling was decorated. That's how when you're in an expensive place, whenever the ceilings are decorated, you know you're in somewhere with some money. And here I am in the hotel, decorated ceilings in the elevator, ornate mirrors, gold-plated handrails, marble floors. But listen to this, but the elevator wasn't working. And so with all that decoration and opulence and richness, it couldn't take me anywhere. And it could not take me to the top. Somebody knows where I'm going and should just meet me there, because here I was in this nice hotel with a nice, rich elevator. It was lit, y'all, but it couldn't take me nowhere, and it could not take me to the top. The lady took me around back over where the kitchen was, and she said, sir, pardon the mess, and she took me to some elevators in the back. Now, when she opened this elevator, she said, sir, I'm sorry, but I'm just trying to get you to your room. I explained to her I needed to get up, and I had to preach at a church for a revival, and she took me to the back, and she said, sir, excuse the mess. She opened the elevator, and there was padding all upside the wall, dust all on the floors. It was dirty. She said, sir, I'm sorry about this. And I thought about the difference in those elevators. But here I was in a luxury hotel. I wasn't going to take the stairs, and the ornate lit elevator couldn't take me nowhere and couldn't take me to the top. She opened that elevator with dust on the floor, pads on the wall. She said, sir, but here it is. This is, she said, the service elevator. She said, take the service elevator because it will get you where you want to go. And I'm talking to somebody right now who's trying to live an ornate life. You're trying to look rich. You're trying to look good. You're trying to decorate your life with expensive clothes, with rich cars, with big houses. But you're realizing that no matter how ornate your life is, it can't take you nowhere. It can't take you where you want to go. And there's somebody who needs to go to the back of the building and go through the kitchen where there's dust and dirt on the floors, where there's padding on the wall, and get in the service elevator. Because here's what I learned about that service elevator. The rich elevator couldn't take me nowhere, but the dusty elevator could take me to the top. top. Come here, Fellowship of Love, because in 2019, there's somebody who wanted to have a resolution to have a new car, to have a new house, to have new clothes. But can I tell you, you can be fancily dressed and not going nowhere. You can have a $5,000 mattress and can't sleep at night. You can get a $300 hairdo and your mind still be going crazy. You can buy expensive shoes and can't get no progress. But if you go where you got to roll your sleeves up, where there might be dust on the floor, where there might be pads on the wall, the service elevator will take you to the top. That's all I've come to tell 5 people today. You can serve your way to the top. You can love your way to the top. You can give your way to the top. You may not be the richest, but the road to the top is in the place where you can serve. That's why I like the song that says, if I can help somebody as I travel along, if I can help somebody with a word or song, if I can help somebody from doing wrong, then my living will not be in vain. I'm through. Your shine will be a result of your structure. Your shine will be a result of your service. Now, here's what you don't want to hear, so I'm going to be short with this. But your shine in 2019 will be a result of your struggle. Now, I know somebody thinks I came to the wrong watch night because I wanted to be told it was going to be my season. I wanted to be told the burdens were going to be lifted and the problems were going to be gone. But I'm coming to tell you that your service and your struggle will result in your shine. Now, see, I learned something about that when I was preparing for this message, and I wanted to understand something about how lights light up the world. What happens in a light bulb that gives it its glow and gives it its shine? Now, I know we live in a world with LED lights, and all of you in your house have LED lights with daylight shine on them. But some of us are old enough to remember and poor enough to remember those old light bulbs, you know, that you couldn't touch without getting burned. And those light bulbs are called incandescent lights. And can I tell you about how an incandescent light bulb shines? You want to know? I'm glad you asked. I came all the way from Smyrna to 609 Kenwood to let you know how an incandescent light bulb shines. And so that you can go into your 2019, if you don't know nothing else, knowing something about a light bulb. If you've ever seen a light bulb, you see 2 wires going up and they meet this squiggly metal thing and they are wrapped in a light bulb. What happens with a light bulb, you may recognize, is a light bulb cannot shine until it gets electricity. Here's what I didn't know. Here's how an incandescent light bulb shines. An incandescent light bulb shines because there is a metal, usually called tungsten metal, that is called filament. Filament is that squiggly thing in the middle of the light bulb. What you may not know about filament is filament does not like electricity. Filament, matter of fact, doesn't like electricity so much. When the electricity is sent through the light bulb, the filament begins to resist the move of the electricity. As the filament resists the electricity that is running through the bulb, friction begins to happen between the electricity and the filament. As the friction begins to happen between the filament and the electricity, things begin to heat up. As the friction and the electricity goes and the filament is bouncing and fighting against the electricity, all of a sudden it starts to heat up and the heating up begins to glow. As the glow begins to glow, the glow causes a light. And so the light you see is the shine of the light bulb. Now, some of you, as I was telling that story, missed your blessing and missed your shout. Because what you missed is that the shine of a light bulb is not the result of calm. The shine of a light bulb is the result of chaos. The shine of a light bulb is not the result of things being cool. The shine of a light bulb is the result of things being in conflict. The shine of a light bulb is not the result of rest. The shine of a light bulb is the result of resistance. When the light bulb shines, it's not a result of everything being in accord. The light bulb is shining because there is discord between the filament and the electricity. There is no light without friction. And somebody knows where I'm going and should just meet me there, because the shining of a light bulb happens because there is a fight going on between the electricity and the filament. And so when I declare that this will be your year of shine, I'm not declaring that your life is about to be drama-free. Your life is about to be friction-free. Your life is about to be conflict-free. When I declare that 2019 is the year that you will shine, I'm not declaring that you will not have battles, that you will not have struggle, that you will not have resistance. When I declare that this is your year to shine, I am declaring that there will be drama, but the drama will make you glow. There will be friction, but the friction will make you bright. There will be conflict, but the conflict will make you better. There will be battles, but the battles will make you stronger. There will be struggle, but the struggle is going to make you rise. There will be resistance, but the resistance is going to make you shine. You are not going to shine in 2019 because of the absence of the enemy. But you are going to shine in 2019 because you are going to be like filament when electricity comes in, and you're going to fight the enemy until things heat up, and then until things glow, and then until things shine. The enemy does not realize that the drama it causes in your life is going to make you shine brighter than you ever have before. The haters in your life are going to make you glow louder than you've ever glowed before. The enemy does not realize that whatever it does to attack you in 2019 is going to work for you to glow, for you to shine, for you to be bright, for you to be brilliant. The filament is made of mostly tungsten metal. As the filament resists the electricity, it begins to heat up the bulb. Eventually, the filament gets so hot in the fight that it begins to glow, and the glow produces light. Can I tell y'all that again so you can understand it? The shine comes from the light comes from the glow comes from the heat comes from the struggle, and the struggle is what makes you shine. If you wanted to go to a watch night where the pastor would declare your problems are over, you came to the wrong church. If you wanted to go to a watch night where the pastor would tell you that there will be no battles, there will be no fights, you came to the wrong church. But if you wanted to know that God can work in your struggle and God can move in your fights until your fights make resistance, and the resistance makes heat, and the heat makes a glow, and the glow causes a light, and the light causes a shine. All I'm trying to tell somebody is in 2019, be not dismayed. Whatever betide you, but beneath God's wings of love abide. Anybody in here can believe that whatever you go through is made to make you stronger. Whatever you go through is made to make you wiser. Whatever you go through is made to make you brighter. Anybody in here going to shine through the sadness, going to shine through the battles, going to shine through the struggle, because you recognize that your struggle is made to make you shine. Your shine will be a result of your structure. God has built you. God has built you to glow. God has built you for brightness. God has built you to remove darkness by your presence. Your shine will be a result of your structure. Your shine will be a result of your service. That in 2019, whatever your resolutions include, you ought to put on your list intentionally and consistently committing yourself to something bigger than you. Your shine will be a result of you deciding and declaring that God has built you for more than just yourself. Think about this. The question that many of us will have next year is, will we allow what God has given us to be used by God? Your shine will be a result of your structure. Your shine will be a result of your service. Your shine will be a result of your struggle. Whenever you see a light bulb shining, whenever you're in a room where the lamp is working, wherever you're in a room where the lights are brightening, you should know that that brightening is a result of a struggle. The struggle between the filament and the electricity. And what God wants you to know in 2019 is that God wants to work through your struggle. God wants to work through your friction. God wants to work through your fights. Because whenever we see a light, what we're really seeing is the result of a fire. Whenever we see a light, what we're really seeing is the result of friction. Think about that. Friction that is so intense that a fire starts. Listen to this. In 2019, if you would really allow your best self to fight your worst self, a fire will start. In 2019, if you really allow your ambition to fight your procrastination, a fire will start. In 2019, if you really allow your dreams to fight your failures, a fire will start. And that's what I'm praying for someone on today. I'm praying that God will light a fire in you through the battles you have with the best of you versus the worst of you, with your higher self versus your lower self, with your energetic self versus your tired self, with your initiative self versus your scared self, with your forgiving self versus your grudge-holding self, with your light-giving self versus your shade-throwing self. I'm praying that God would ignite a fire in you as you fight the way the enemy wants to run through you. If the filament allowed the electricity to do what it wants, every room we have would stay dark. But the filament stopped the electricity, and it resisted. And in that friction, light happens, and a fire starts. And that's my prayer for you, my brother. That's my prayer for you, my sister. That in 2019, a fire of friction, conflict, and struggle will light up the world.